ladies and gentlemen, this is a highlight of our program tonight, and that is the speech. Not to give you any pressure or anything. It's a tradition for the Graduate School of Political Management to have a speech from the student body. And tonight, I'm delighted to present to you Stephanie Lynn Murdoch, who will give the student speech for the College of Professional Studies.
Thank you. I want to start by thanking everyone for coming here tonight and not going to prettiness. I remember the night when I decided that I would take any means necessary to establish myself in Washington, D.C. It was August 30th, 2005. I had been accepted into the distinguished George Washington University Graduate School of Political Management. I spent the day looking for an apartment with my friend. We were daunted by the challenge that I know many of my classmates experienced in finding an affordable place to live in a livable neighborhood. After an exhausting and unproductive search, we ended up in a warehouse in Northwest D.C. called Fight Club to ask D.C. native Dan for housing recommendations. Fight Club was a warehouse with a bunch of sketchy skateboarding ramps made of wood, road signs, and held together with screws and duct tape. I took a few minutes to skate because skateboarding is my release. It's my passion. It lets me step away from my problems and find a peaceful place. At Fight Club, I met a skater named Eric and told him about our unproductive apartment search. I didn't think much of the encounter at the time until he called me later that night, and he said he may be able to help me. He said it would be a bit unconventional and I'd have to see it before I made any decisions. Well, I turned my car right back around from my hometown of Baltimore and went right back down to D.C. I had to find something because tomorrow was August 31st, my first day of class. I recently stood before my classmates and made a confession about my biggest challenge in establishing myself in Washington, D.C. And I asked them to share theirs with me. Whether as a newcomer to the city, right from undergrad, or as an experienced professional already established in the district deciding to go back to school, our challenges were shared. In establishing oneself in D.C. and thriving as a professional and as a graduate student, one is burdened not only with one's personal fears, but the fears and everyday's life challenges and obstacles. For my peers and myself, those everyday challenges mostly dealt with living accommodations, professional life, understanding the city, and meeting academic challenges. I revealed to my classmates that despite the fact that I'm attending the most prestigious and expensive school in the United States, I've been living a meager existence as a grad school squatter skater punk, living in an abandoned and condemned warehouse with intermittent periods of running water and electricity. Eric gave me a room to stay that night on August 2005 and set off a series of events which allowed me to have a relatively normal professional and academic life while maintaining an urban camping existence for nearly 2 years. During this time, I relied heavily upon extension cords, candles, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and baby wipes. I could not have done it without my adopted D.C. family, Dan, Jen, Tony, Tommy, and Ben, and along with the blind-eyed tolerance of my supportive biological family in Baltimore, Wendy, Jamie, and Brad. Finding the right job, which pays the right salary and satisfies oneself personally, is difficult for everyone in the district. Everyone wants to do something worthwhile, but as my classmates can attest, it's pretty hard to feel like you're doing something worthwhile when you're working a staff-ass position on the hill, where you're at the bottom of the totem pole, working horrible hours with a demanding boss and little to no pay. Or for some of us, it's the challenge of finding opportunities for advancement in your field or the job you currently possess. My classmates also told me about their daily challenges in understanding and navigating the city, such as finding the best sandwich, finding the cheapest beers and the safest bike route amongst the city's traffic patterns, tolerating drunken Georgetown law students, witnessing bumps, Piston streets, and K Street lobbyists making their cell. I don't need to stand up here and tell you guys about life's challenges, and I don't need to stand up here and pretend like I have the solution. But I know this for certain. We all came to DC for one reason, because this is where it all happens. And what we don't realize until we get here is that this is where it all happens because motivated, passionate, idealistic, and driven individuals such as my classmates energize the city. So find your passion, your life's release, and make it a part of your everyday. Don't feel guilty if you don't know what you want to do with your life. Don't let others tell you what you're capable of. Understand that friends come and friends go, but there are a few that you should hold on to. And accept the fact that prices will rise and politicians will pander. We will get old and we'll remember when we were young and prices were reasonable and politicians were noble. But until then, take the experience and confidence you gained here at George Washington University and put it to work for you.
Stephanie, thank you so much.